We find tremendous value in these cattle, and the calf behind me, I guess, trying to show off a little bit.
Today on The American Rancher, we take a look at Gelbvieh cattle. The Gelbvieh breed is known throughout the industry for their maternal strength and superior growth. With these attributes, Gelbvieh and Balancer cattle fit well into a crossbreeding system and provide genetics that work for the commercial cattle business. Gelbvieh and Balancer calves are smart, reliable, and profitable in the feed yard. We travel around the country to meet producers and industry experts to explore the Gelbvieh breed.
What we get out of the Gelbvieh cattle in those crosses is we add carcass weight, and at the end of the day, you're still paid base by pound. We add ribeye. We get gainability and feed efficiency, all things that we find highly valuable.
It's coming up on The American Rancher. Stay with us. Hello and welcome to The American Rancher. I'm Pam Minnick. Gelbvieh and Balancer genetics are well known throughout the beef industry for their maternal strengths and superior growth. With attributes such as more pounds of calf weaned, added fertility, greater cow herd longevity, and heavier carcass weights, just to name a few, Gelbvieh and Balancer offer genetics that work for the commercial cattleman.
22 years ago, we started finishing all of our own cattle. So our selection process is while driven by lots of different things, is largely based on the fact that we get paid for everything hanging, and that's an important part of what we're doing. We certainly have moved from cattle that at one time we were hanging in the high 6s to low 7s to cattle that we're typically hanging in the low 8s. And 100 pounds of carcass weight at today's prices is the difference oftentimes between paying the freight bill, getting them to the yard, and not. A typical closeout for us right now is going to run about 80% choice and above. And then in that 80% choice and above, we're actually going to run somewhere between 12 and 15% prime. We also find that these crossbred cattle are really good in that whether we're going back to grass with them in a backgrounding situation or whether we're going straight to the yards, we don't have any concerns about them working out on the other end. When the nutrition is there, they will bloom, and when it's not there, they're not going to stale out on us.
Well, I like the Balancer, the Gelbvieh Angus Balancer, because I like the Continental with the English. You need a balance of the two for the marketing program I'm on. With line bred Angus, I feel you give up a muscling. With the Gelbvieh in there, it brings the muscling in, and by watching my marbling, I see no effect of lesser grade or anything like that. Gelbvieh Balancer I really like in terms of my rate of gain. I do buy some other individuals' calves, and some of them will be line bred Angus. When I compare those rate of gains against my Balancers, there is a definite difference, and part of that is due to heterosis. You know, I think with so much line breeding going on, we're giving up heterosis, which is that's that extra little kick that we don't have to do anything, it's just there. So I think that's one reason I really like the Balancer, is because of the heterosis. Well, in order to make better decisions, you have to know what you have. And by recording this data and tracking data, I can see where I'm at and then thus make an educated decision where I want to go. I look at my ribeye to live weight ratio or ribeye to carcass weight issue. I know what my cattle are doing, and that way by having a high ratio, say like 1.3 to 1, that way I can feed cattle to heavier weights without having them turn into 4s. That way they got the marbling and the growth to do what I need to do. When I'm marketing fed cattle, I can send steers to 1,700 pounds, 1,725, 4% shrink. They'll come in at a 1,050 pound carcass with a choice and not be a 4. So that way I'm maximizing my pounds, my gain, my quality grade, everything. And I'm maximizing my actual time and effort of doing all this.
Balancer cattle offer a simple and powerful way to maintain hybrid vigor and a profitable blend of British and continental genetics without a complicated crossbreeding system. These cattle fit well into all aspects of the beef industry, including commercial cow-calf operations and on the rail. Commercial producers from around the United States are raising Gelbvieh and Balancer cattle and are seeing the advantages of crossbreeding in post-weaning performance. But they aren't the only ones taking notice. Beef industry professionals are noticing Gelbvieh and Balancer calves in the sale ring and on the rail. You're watching The American Rancher. Stay with us.
If you want high-quality, range-ready bulls, attend Judd Ranch's 39th annual bull sale on Saturday, March 4th at the ranch in Pomona, Kansas. The sale offering includes 306 Gelbvieh, Balancer, and Red Angus bulls. These bulls are from the Gelbvieh breed's most honored Dam of Merit program. Judd Ranch bulls give you the complete package of calving ease, growth, carcass, and fertility. In last year's sale, commercial producers purchased 17 of the 18 top-selling bulls. Check out Judd Ranch's sale catalog online at www.juddranch.com. Listed as one of the top 100 genetic providers by Beef Magazine, Cedar Top Ranch has a strong history of supplying ranchers with productive cows that raise efficient, sale-topping calves. If you want cattle that thrive in the hardy, rugged conditions of the Nebraska Sandhills, then attend Cedar Top Ranch's annual production sale on the third Tuesday in February. Cedar Top Ranch is the only balancer operation you can get 100% 2-year-old bulls that were developed on grass to ensure soundness and longevity. For cattle that will work for you, contact us today.
Welcome to Flying Ace Genetics, where cattle are bred for profit and built to work. Genetically, every animal is mated to create profit from fertility, calving ease, growth, and carcass value. Plus, structural soundness, teat and udder quality, and disposition are identified and called for. Then, they're built to work with our Grown on Grass and Roughage and Ready development programs. They are not fattened on corn. If you're ready to buy cattle bred for profit and built to work, go to flyingacegenetics.com or call 308-962-6500 today.
How well do you really know your cows? Find out with Smart Select Service, which provides genetic tools for ranchers. Smart Select Service is a new data management system for commercial producers. For $1 per head, Smart Select Service provides unique genetic tools such as a feeder profit index and stability score to make sound breeding decisions to increase the productivity and profitability of your herd. It's available for any breed of cattle, so let Smart Select Service do the data management for you. Go to gelbvieh.org to enroll today.
Welcome back to The American Rancher. Today, feeders favor buying cattle with genetics that predict performance both in the feed yard and on the rail. With the beef industry calling on heavier carcass weights and greater quality, using Balancer genetics can help capture premiums at harvest. Balancer genetics offer more pounds of carcass weight and the ability to reach industry-demanded quality grades without sacrificing yield grade.
We just want our producers to produce a calf that's going to have some frame and some gainability, and that's going to feed well, and have a lot of meat in them when they're all done. That's going to perform, and mostly that's got enough frame to really handle it after they leave here as a calf or as a feeder, either one. I've got a lot of customers, that have purchased bulls through me at some of the sales, and so I pay particular attention to those customers because I want to see the results. And it's real easy to tell that the balancers have helped their herd. I see those cattle selling above average prices. A lot of times I'll use a customer north up here at Miltonvale, Kansas. They use nothing but balancer bulls. Those calves have got uniform, they've got length, they've got leg, they've got depth. And another thing I see a lot of is maternal traits. People that never kept heifers back as replacements have seen what these heifers can do out of these balancer bulls, and they're starting to keep their own heifers and putting in their own herd. buyers sitting in the seats here at the sale barn have got so much more educated on what they want, and they understand what they're getting, you know, when they get an animal that's weaned, that's had a proper vaccination program. So I think to receive the top prices through a sale ring, you're going to have to start being, you know, part of that industry as far as being a part of the vaccination program and genetics. You know, if we've got a name that we can give, you know, something to attach to that animal as he goes through here, you know, these buyers and the feed yards, they're going to be able to track that animal and know how they perform. And so it's a big deal, you know. Information is a big deal. My personal preference is an Angus cow with a balancer bull. And you know, you can get too much of one deal. You know, sometimes I've had a lot of customers might put a red Angus bull on a red Angus cow, and they get a lot of meat, but sometimes they lose some of their stretch and some of their leg, and I've bought balancer bulls for them and put on there, and all of a sudden it's just like problem fixed, you know. And so that's what I like about a balancer bull. They're just kind of problem solvers for me. You can take the ones that are too moderate and give them a little more frame, or you can take the ones that are too extreme and moderate them down just a little bit. So they fix a lot of problems for me.
If you build up those genetics for carcass traits, marbling and everything, then there's actually some more benefit from feeding those cattle a little bit longer. And what we've seen in the data is, hey, if he feeds them a little bit longer, maybe he increases, let's just say 5 percentage units, percentage points, like from 10 to 15% increase in yield grade 4s. He has started recently to see that much of an increase. In other words, maybe 5 percentage point increase in prime. And prime is the most. I mean, that's what a lot of our producers have already set their sights on. That's the highest price per pound they can get. But on our system and our pricing system, when you step back and think about total dollars per head and what you can do to make your check bigger from us, let's forget about premiums for a second and so forth. Let's just think about what can you do to make your check bigger from us. If you had a prime yield grade 1 and you knew that, you're really leaving money on the table by not feeding him to, say, a yield grade 3. Because you get a lot more pounds. I'm not saying you should take him all the way to a 3, but moving him up a yield grade and selling more pounds, because those pounds are worth as much as you can get. And so the reward is even bigger there. And our grid is maybe a little bit unique. We don't offer huge premiums for 1s and 2s because we're looking for the quality. So we're saying, yeah, we'll discount you a little bit for the 4s. There's a little bit of a premium for the 1s and 2s, but really we want yield grade 3 cattle that are well finished and express that market. We've noticed that the back running phase is probably a pretty key phase of production. I mean, they're all really important because we like to say that marbling is a lifetime achievement, and it literally begins at conception. So things like how we manage the cows and fetal programming is going to have an effect. But what research and our experience has shown is that that phase of around weaning is pretty key, because research has shown us that there's cells in the animal that are still growing and developing, and they're kind of like teenagers. They don't yet know what they're going to be when they grow up. And so if we're managing that calf and feeding them even a medium to small, let's call it a medium amount of grain, then when that cell senses the glycogen or blood sugar floating around it, that cell essentially says, hey, I need to become a fat cell to store this fat, this extra energy as fat, in this case as marbling. Essentially like increasing the genetic potential of the animal through some management. Coming into this job, I expected a lot more antagonisms. In other words, if we're shooting for quality, we might have to give up a lot of other things. But in reality, growth, which of course is the main concern, how many pounds do I sell? Growth and quality really do tend to come together. How have we got cattle to grow bigger? A lot of it's from greater feed intake. Greater feed intake leads to more calories. More calories means we can have some excess for fat storage, and some of that's going to be marbling. And so it really does work together. And if we choose, like Scott Hamilton, to feed our cattle a little bit longer, then again, more days means more pounds and more quality. And so they really build together. And So we've really talked to producers about, hey, we're kind of measured by premium as in terms of how much more can you get than the cash market. But when you step back from it and say, if I'm going to make this work, I want my check to be as big as possible. And so I want to do things that I can to keep my carcass weight high without getting too many heavyweight discounts and building that quality in there.
Biggest thing I would tell people, if your cattle aren't bringing what your neighbor's cattle brought, you know, if there's a big discrepancy in the price on the same 500-pound steers that you've seen across the fence all year, don't be afraid to ask us why, you know, and you know, if we can help you out and give you some sort of advice, you know, to maybe make your cattle a little more, eye appealing, you know, we'd be glad to do so without trying to offend anyone or something like that. But, you know, your success is our success. You know, as producers successful, then we're successful and everybody's happy. But if you've got a problem or too many tail enders, you know, that's a big thing. You know, it costs so much to survive anymore and to run your farm or run your ranch year in and year out, and you've just got to get rid of those lower producing cows, or, you know, stop producing those calves that don't dollar up very well. That's a big thing, you know, it's try to maximize your efficiency, I think.
Crossbreeding can work, you just need to know what you're doing, and it can work with a lot of different breeds because there are good cattle in all the breeds, and I don't mean to sound too politically correct, but there really are, and we just need to use the tools that are there. And of course the Gelbvieh Association and all breed associations are trying to provide those tools so that producers can build those right cattle, and that's why we're happy to work closely with some of the seed stock producers that are invested in our company and know firsthand what they need to be moving towards.
In 1971, the American Gelbvieh Association was formed. Today, many AGA members recognize the value of Gelbvieh genetics in a crossbreeding program. Thus, the American Gelbvieh Association provides feasible avenues for members to register their cattle for the purpose of seed stock production. The historical metamorphosis of Gelbvieh cattle is a testimonial to the adaptation Gelbvieh has made to the ever-changing dynamic of providing beef genetics to the industry. You're watching The American Rancher. Stay with us.
Our goal here at Swanson Cattle Company is to raise very functional livestock that will work in any breeding situation.
In the past few years, we've graded from 90 to 100% choice, gains from 3.3 to 3.8 pounds, with conversions at 5.7 to right at 6 pounds.
We welcome people to call us at any time and come see us.
Or visit our website at swansoncattleco.com.
Family owned, commercially focused, Warner Beef Genetics offers the most complete set of Gelbvieh, Balancer, and Angus cattle. We take pride in the success of our customers, and with our extensive AI and ET programs, you won't be disappointed in this year's sales. Join us the first Tuesday in March for our annual bull sale, offering over 150 bulls, and the first Saturday in October for our elite female sale. For more pictures and videos, visit our website at warnerbeef.com.
Seed Stock Plus is the innovative solution for commercial producers to achieve more value for their genetic dollar. In our 18th year, 50 family seed stock producers are working together to offer more bulls, more data, and more customer service to the beef industry. Seed Stock Plus is the largest full-service supplier of Gelbvieh and Balancer genetics, offering over 900 bulls a year, registered in commercial females, feeder calves, and semen. Check out our exceptional customer service and sales schedule at seedstockplus.com.
Welcome back to The American Rancher. The American Gelbvieh Association is a beef cattle breed association dedicated to recording, promoting, and improving Gelbvieh-influenced cattle. They are also committed to helping the commercial cattle producer succeed. The association's long-range strategic plan strongly focuses on what the association can do for the commercial cattle producer.
The American Gelbvieh Association Meeting Modern Industry Demands strategic plan is beef industry centric. Why? Because we believe that a modern breed association isn't just about the registry of cattle anymore. We believe very strongly that our responsibility goes past our registered members to provide information to both the commercial cow-calf sector and the feed yard sectors as well. The AGA knows that a modern industry is information driven. Information about markets, information about cattle health, and for sure information about genetics. That's where the AGA comes in. We have products like Smart Select service that is a complete herd management tool for our commercial bull customers to use. It can even be used in the feed yard sector as well, but more importantly, it supplies information from cow-calf to feed yard sector all the way to the packer that adds some kind of value or determines value of the cattle that it's describing. Once we've collected all that information, ranchers and feeders and even packers can use it to price cattle, to determine the value of cattle, and to help them plan their business accordingly. That information will be the very centerpiece of a modern industry going forward. As the AGA continues to develop tools like Feeder Profit Calculator for our Smart Cross Feeder Cattle program, I encourage all of you to contact the AGA, visit with our talented and knowledgeable staff about how the AGA can go to work for your sector of the beef industry.
To assist producers in placing Gelbvieh and Balancer influence feeder cattle in a place where they will be most successful, the American Gelbvieh Association started our Feeder Finder service. Feeder Finder was created in 2015 and helps producers with Gelbvieh and Balancer influence feeder cattle market those cattle via email to over 250 feed yards across the country. For producers to put their cattle onto Feeder Finder, they can fill out a form which can be found on gelbvieh.org under the Exchange section, or can simply contact the AGA office at 303-465-2333.
The American Gelbvieh Association provides genetic tools to both seed stock and commercial producers. In addition, the American Gelbvieh Association is committed to the improvement of Gelbvieh and Balancer genetics and is continually working to collect data and enhance economically relevant traits of the breed. Gelbvieh cattle provide the basis for profitability in all aspects of the beef industry. With the right genetics and industry-leading service provided by the American Gelbvieh Association, investing in Gelbvieh and Balancer is smart, reliable, and profitable. To find out more, visit their website at gelbvieh.org. That's all the time we have today. To find out more about us, visit our website, theamericanrancher.com, or find us on Facebook. We'd love to connect with you. I'm Pam Minnick for the entire American Rancher team. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.